Welcome to Critic Farms. We're back with another episode of UMRV, Upper Mississippi River Valley, and we have a little bit of stuff to do here to wrap up our fall season. We've got all of our crops harvested, which has been awesome. I've been away from the series for a little over a week now, almost 2 weeks with the way that recording and editing works out. I've been sick, unfortunately, in the last several days, and so my whole video schedule is just completely thrown off at the moment. So I'm trying to remember what we had going on in this game. I think we're all done spreading lime, though. I've got just a tiniest bit left in the semi-trailer here, so I figured we might as well get that all unloaded into the dry fertilizer spreader here, and we're gonna send this guy back up to the farmyard. I don't think we need to spread anymore. Let me take a quick look at the pH tab. We're looking pretty good here everywhere, I think. Maybe this field could use some at some point, but we're trying to get into not spreading every year and skipping a year in between. It shouldn't be much of a penalty. It's a lot of extra fuel and time to keep things moving here if we try to do it every year. So I'm going to get this all set up to go back up to the farmyard. And then with that guy going, I'm going to get the other truck here heading that way too. Oops, I'm not sure what we're going to need next, if it's more dry fertilizer or just lots more seed as we get into the spring, since we've already got some seed, and I think our planters are probably full as well. We don't really need to do anything with this at the moment, so we'll get it all tarped up. I'm going to get this guy out onto the road because we've got this telephone pole here which can cause a few problems, and then I believe we need to get some slurry into the spreader. We've had the spreader running out in the field here. I'm pretty sure it's full right now though, so I'm going to let the worker take these trucks up to where they need to be, and we'll bring this right on out here and get it unloading. And luckily, our spreader is right on this end of the field, so this is going to be an easy haul here. Could probably close the top lids there on the semi-trailer, and maybe we'll get lucky and I can pull alongside this and not have to do a whole crazy backup job. I was going too fast. We couldn't stop. See if I can get us going. We've got this thing still set up to unload incredibly fast, which I actually like a lot. And then I'm going to need to refill this slurry spreader a couple more times out in this field. So we're just going to leave this semi right on over here on the side of the field, and we'll see where we end up and need to refill. No sense driving it all over the place when I don't know where we're going to need it. Let's go ahead and get this guy moving again. All set up for nearest waypoint. There we go. We do have this thing doing an auto spread based on the soil here. I could probably manually increase this to be a bit more than we're putting on now, but it is what it is, and it provides a little bit more realism to take things in multiple phases. So we'll just let this guy keep doing his thing. I've got no complaints. I have to say, I thought the slurry spreading was going to be one of our most painful jobs, but it has actually worked out to be one of the most hands-off processes we've got. At some point, I'd like to get this back onto being able to automatically refill itself and stuff like that. I just haven't had the energy to invest in reworking our entire farm just so that I can have this guy drive through an easy unload spot again. But it's on my to-do list for someday. With our slurry spreader taken care of, the next thing we've got to worry about is our bales out here. And actually, it looks like we're done with the raking and the baling here. So I'm going to go ahead and kill off that course play course. I don't think we're going to need it. And I'd like to send this guy back up to the farmyard as well and get him parked. However, I really don't know if this driver's going to be able to handle that. So what I think we're going to do, since it's such a long way away to the edge of the field, is I'm going to take this guy and we're going to have him use follow me to follow the lead tractor here. And we're going to go ahead and just drive this back up to the yard ourselves. Man, these tractors are going to need a bit of a maintenance and paint and all kinds of things. We've really worn them down here this season, especially this 8410. This was a new to us tractor that was looking pretty good when we got it, and now it's in kind of a painful state. Let's see how this is going to work out. I think that other guy's following me. There we go. We're doing good. Let's try to avoid as many bales as possible and take this guy straight across the field back up to the farm here. Now, I think what we're going to do is actually bring these two tractors in through this back gate, and hopefully I can navigate around the slurry loading area here to get back to our haying shed a little bit easier. The augers are kind of hanging over here, and we got some pretty uneven ground, so it's not really a great spot to try and bring some of this taller equipment like this through, but it looks like we're gonna make it, no problems. A little bit of bumps here and there, and here we are. Man, that shed's actually getting fuller than I thought it was, and I need to leave this area open because we got to start bringing some bales back here at some point. So let me think about this for a minute. I guess I could park something right here for the moment, so I'm gonna hop in here, disable the helper, and we're gonna just put this bale tractor. Oh, we've got some room back over on the other side of the bale shed here that we could use. I could also potentially put this thing up in this other shed right here. Can I get through here with the duals on is the question. This is a tight fit, but not that tight. We've got plenty of room. I think maybe we'll put it up in here for the time being. This should work out pretty well for us. We've got a number of bays that we can use. I never did figure out how to get the grass or chaff that we put in here. I don't even know what fill type it was now, off the floor. We weren't able to scoop that back up. That's probably the chaff from when we were doing excess corn chopping and we ran out of bag space, I think. Man, this thing does not have a turn radius. I was trying to get us turned into the corner here, but that was not working out so well for us, and now I'm going to end up real close to this wall with my dual, which is not what I wanted to do, but I think we're good to go. Plenty out of the way for driving through there with other equipment. And then we've got some silage bags here. I think we got rid of the silage packer. I'm not sure. I don't know how to sell these. I'm going to set these. Where am I going to set these? We're going to move these into the shed here. I'll set them right up here. Maybe we'll use them for something later. Maybe not. And we haven't been using this auger this season at all, but I'm not quite ready to say let's get rid of it. So we'll go ahead and pull this all the way back here as well. See if I can get it working. The steering wheel being off to the side a little bit always throws me off when you're doing some of these other things that don't actually have steering wheels in them. You forget that it still applies. We didn't have that far to go, but 3 miles an hour is seeming really slow right now. All right, here we go. We're all set. I'm gonna leave it right down here on the flat spot. And if we need this at some point later, we've got it. I feel like every farm needs a old auger just hanging around. And for this big rake, I don't think we're going to put it in the shed up there, just because I think it'd be a little bit unwieldy to get in anywhere. I think I'm just going to leave it outside. We'll back it up right over here. I think alongside the bale shed ought to work out pretty well for us. So this is the plan, at least. There's plenty of room to put something else here. I should be getting it a little closer to the shed maybe, but I don't know that we've got any other equipment we need right now. I'm going to drop it right here, and this tractor actually needs to go back to its job of running one of the feed mixers around. So we're going to do that. I think I've left the feed mixer in one of these barns, the small barn up here. I'm trying to get a glance at this thing to see which way where we're going. I think the hitch is towards the harvest doors over here, so we'll back in from this door. And this is going to be necessary to keep the feed moving for us when we start moving time forward here in the end of the year. There's not a lot to do in the winter, although I know some people are suggesting maybe we put a winter crop in some of our fields here. That would let us then have something to harvest in the spring, and then I could switch and put some beans in maybe after. I know we talked about this in the previous episode. I just can't remember where we left things exactly. So we're going to have to re-look at the planting calendar and figure out what we've got going on. Let me first, though, pull this guy out here. And what I want to do is get him started on an auto drive course if I can. See if this will work out. We got to keep that TMR down in this main harvest store because this is the only one I bothered to set up as a mixing station. So if we bring it in here and take a quick look, we've used up a lot of TMR in the recent day here, and that's going to leave us a lot of capacity for the hay and the silage to get used up. Making more TMR, which will give us more chaff capacity and just kind of keep burning through this. I feel like we finally have enough silage to last until the next harvest season, with all three of these harvest stores pretty well full on silage. And this guy's going to go back into barn C here to unload, which we just dumped into. So I think all of our animals are actually filled up on food. We've got total capacities on all three of these. They're getting full on slurry as well, so that's going to be something we need to empty out here after another day or so moving forward. But as you can see, the reproduction's finally about to happen on these cows here. I think this is going to happen when we move the day forward next, and we're getting closer to starting that process on these other heifers. I can't wait. That means we're going to start seeing a lot more money coming in from the milking process here every day. So with all of that stuff out of the way, and I'm pretty sure our slurry spreader's still moving out there, we've got some tillage that we need to check in on somewhere here. And then we also have a bunch of bales that we're going to need to move as well. So first things first, we better get that tillage moving because we've got a lot of it to go in the fall here. All of our corn ground needs to have a plow run over it, and then we can start working on bales once we got that tillage moving. I can't believe we kind of sort of forgot about it, so I need to have that going in parallel. Otherwise, we're going to be doing nothing but tillage for episodes on end, which is never fun. I always prefer when we've got a few different jobs going on and we can keep things interesting, not get bogged down by any single job. See if my backing up skills are good enough to get this thing in here. I think I actually usually put the other trailer in here, but whoops, we backed up the wrong way. Luckily, this two-track tractor does a great job of correcting for when you get things mixed up. We're going to drop it in there. I should probably get this stuff washed off here. I don't remember where the pressure washer is. We might not have a pressure washer on this farm. Here's the water tank. We'll wash it off here. All set. Look at how shiny that is, almost like new. Let's go find where we left our tillage equipment. I think it's in the back of the farm over here. All right, let's see what we've got. There's our drill. Oh, we came in the wrong way. That's okay. This thing's got an amazing turn radius on it. It's one of the things I do like about this tractor. All right, and we'll go ahead and pull this thing right out this back door. And I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to spin right back over here and we'll take it out the back gate. That's going to work out the best for us. Somewhere over here. and I'm not sure which of the fields I'm going to plant these winter crops in just yet. I've been trying to think about how we want to break that all up. We might put some of them in one of these cornfields, give the cornfield a rest. Going to hop in here real quick and let's see, needs plowing. Which fields? Oh, wait. Am I getting myself confused or? Oh, no, there we go. Okay, I was seeing all the weeds. I'm like, I'm sure we didn't do any plowing yet. I think we're going to go over to field number 7 and start our plowing situation over there. So let me go ahead and start this guy over to field 7, and we'll go check in on this slurry spreader. And just taking a quick look at, actually right over here, we're a little bit under halfway done with the field, I think. We're already going back on the in-between up-down rows, which is great. But we do have a couple of headland passes and such we'll need to do after this, so I think we're going to need to fill up at least one more time, which is fine. We've got more than enough digestate to go around, so I'm not too worried about it. We didn't exactly get lined up the best here, so I think I'm going to back past our trailer a little bit, and then we'll get a little bit straighter of an approach here. I wish this zone wasn't on the back of the semi-trailer. I wish there was an easier zone right on the side of it. Feels like it would be a more natural place to unload from, but it is what it is. And like before, I think we're going to leave it in the same spot. There's a nice big grassy area over here. It's been easy enough to pull over and park on. And simply get this guy started and we're good to go. Looks like right as our other driver gets on out to the field here. We'll go ahead and get a course play job set up here using our standard defaults. I think should work fine. Did I tell it to start on the up-down rows or the headlands? Center, yeah. All right, looks great. Let's go. Start. All right, I think we'll be good. Let's get rid of these crazy lines. I generally only like to see the lines that are the section we're working for. And with all that running around out of the way, we can finally start working on our bale situation. Now, I'm trying to think of the best way to get out here and drop these bales off. We don't have any capacity in the harvest store just now, so we're going to take these down and start putting them into our bale storage shed, which we've got quite a few bales stacking up in there because I completely forgot that we had a whole bunch in there. I was buying hay bales through part of the summer the previous year, I think, and that in hindsight was a bit of a mistake. But now that we know, we've got plenty of hay. I'm not too worried about either type of food as we move closer to the winter months. I think with these two bigger fields going now for the hay, we're finally in a spot where we can get things done. Now, I always forget the unload point is not the point marked on the ground here. It's the dump area a little bit closer to the bale point. So what I want to do is get lined up here in it, and then this trigger actually works to unload right on the trailer if I remember correctly. So I'm going to put this thing into transporting position. We're going to push Y. I'm going to unload in place, and then we're going to pull forward here, not too fast because we don't want them to bounce off. But there we go, a bunch of bales into storage. And then as always, we need to turn this back into operating position, and we can go and pick up some more bales from that other field. It should be a hop and a skip over there. One of these days, though, we need to look at installing a bridge over this creek so I don't have to come all the way over here to get into the field. I feel like it'd be a lot easier if we had a way to just sneak into the backside of our farm. I guess realistically it's not that far to come out the gate and go over the road here. There's quite a few bales out here that we're gonna have to pick up, which is great, but it also means we've got a lot of work ahead of us here. We're not going to be able to just knock this out in a single pass. I don't know why I decided to start picking up bales down the middle of the field rather than working from the outside in. We'll have to cut all the way back over to this outside row on our left when we get down to the other end, I think. I find it's easier to not miss bales if you follow the same path that the baler went on. Sometimes I just drive willy-nilly around the field, but that's not probably the best idea, because then I always waste more time than anything else trying to find those last couple of bales that I left laying out in the middle of somewhere. So here we go. That was 10 bales on the way down, and this thing holds just over 40, so I'll be able to pick up all 3 of these rows that we missed earlier, and then a couple more on one of the other passes. It should work out perfectly for us here, actually. All right, we've got all 42 of these bales, and I'm noticing we missed a few piles of hay on the end rows there, just like, I don't know, it's probably about a bale's worth if you went all the way around and got them all. I'm not sure it's worth going back and bringing the baler out here again for, but we might do that at some point if we get bored. We got a lot of stuff going on here on the farm, though, and I do want to get the time moved forward sooner than later. I don't really need to stay in October for the stuff that we've got remaining, because we've got just field work and stuff going. But I did promise we were going to look at the crop calendar here, so we're going to do that as soon as I get done dumping these bales off in the barn here. I'm actually beginning to wonder if we're going to have enough storage for these bales here or not. This is a big barn, but also we're dumping 40 some odd bales in here at a time. It's going to be interesting for sure. All right, here we go. All the bales dropped off, and we should be back in the right mode. Let's just double check out of curiosity how many bales this storage is going to hold. Looks like we're at 237 out of 448, so we've still got a ways to go here on this. That's not too bad at all. Just checking in here. I should have had this thing doing skip rows. I'm realizing now we forgot to set that up last time. It's too late now. We'll let it continue as it is, but if I'm not mistaken, this guy's having to do some wonky backing up to handle its next row. Yeah, see, we shouldn't be having to do that little backup at all. Very inefficient. We'll have to remember that we need to do that for the next field here. And just taking a look here, we've got the option to put in some winter wheat or barley. I'm tempted to do the barley because then it's done in June. Maybe where if we plant it later, maybe it's not done until later, but that would, in theory, free us up to do the soybeans in the early June. That might work out well. So we'll do some winter barley and then see how that works out for us. I like this idea. We could plant some winter cotton. That's fascinating. I don't think they do a lot of cotton in Iowa last time I checked, though. However, before we get to that, we need to refill this again. We've been quite lucky in this field with having the worker always ending up fairly close to this semi. All right, we're all topped off. Send it on its way. I think that's going to be good for us. I don't think we're going to need to fill this up again. Oh, we're having a little bit of lag there for some reason. Not sure what's going on with that. So I'm going to take the chance that we're done, and I'm going to move this over to the driveway side of the field. And then if we're not, it'll still be out here. We can always refill one more time. But if we are, we'll be in a better position to get this guy moving back up to the farm. We'll back it up a little bit here. I want to leave it off of the field because that slurry spreader gets right up next to its work area pretty much. So if we have anything hanging too much into the field, we'll run into problems. And there we go. I think that's going to do it. And we're going to look at the horsepower requirements on some stuff. So I've got this drill, only requires 270 horsepower. what is our tractor here? This is 270 horsepower. This might be a little bit of a stretch, but I think we're going to go with it. I think we're going to give it a try. Now, before we do that, I just want to check and make sure that our repair is good on this stuff. We've been using it quite a bit. I don't think the paint affects anything, but we do need to keep everything patched up. I'm going to drop that baler off, and we're going to go get this thing hooked up to the baler. Now, did I leave this drill in the right direction? Oh, we've got the, hang on. We got an 8RX here that we could run the drill with. Maybe we'll do that instead. I'm trying to think. I think the 8RX is going to be the better play here. This thing would probably pull it, but it's just a, it's going to be right on the edge of our power rating there. And I think the 8RX is going to do a better job on all of these hills and such that we have. So this is going to work out a lot better for us. I can't believe we forgot about the trusty old 8RX here. The problem with running multiple farms with John Deere equipment here right now on our series is that I have been getting things mixed up between the two series. I need to do a better job of mixing up my equipment, apparently. All right, here we go. We're gonna take this thing on out here, and I'm seeing we've got some grass in here, but we don't have anything else going in right now. The tanks on the tractor hold the liquid fertilizer, but I don't think that's going to help us out here. I don't think this thing is going to be set up to apply that, unlike our other equipment, which is fine. We can always come back over it with either the sprayer or the manure spreader if we need to at some point. So let me see here. We're going to put in barley, I said. Which field are we going to put the barley into? Let's take a look. I think we were planning on doing a little bit of crop rotation here. We did corn in all three of these big fields the previous year. I think the plan this year is to do a cash crop in one of these big fields. It's probably going to end up being field 7 right now, just because that's the one we started plowing. I kind of want to do a big cash crop in one of these other fields, but we'll probably go corn on corn. And again, I can't remember historically what we ended up with here, but I think we'll do corn in these two fields, probably corn in field 21, leaving field 7 to plant another crop. We can put corn back to back in a field a couple of times before we really have to worry about it too much. And as long as we're in the yard, I think I left that seed tender in the yard to be able to top this thing up before we put anything away, which should work out pretty well for us. I'm going to see if I can open up the lid on this thing. Perfect. And where do I want to do this? I'm going to do it right here. So let me back this up, see if I can spin this thing all the way around. I forget, whoa, how many gears this thing has for reverse. It's more than I recalled. I'm used to our 40 series tractors that had less gears overall. I always feel like I'm doing nothing but shifting gears in this thing when I drive it around. All right, we'll just leave it here in the middle of the yard, and then I'll move the auger around once we get this thing unfolded. So I'm gonna slide this all the way over to there. I've got our seed set up in hopper 2, which I think is the hopper we've got selected. So I'll try and find a good camera angle to do this. There we go, right in the hopper. I think it's all filled up now, so we'll go all the way back to putting this thing away. I don't know if we're gonna need to reload that or not. But on the off chance that we don't, I might as well bring this thing up here, and we're gonna park it where we usually park it, alongside the bin enclosure. And if we do need it, we'll be hopping in here and bringing it out to the field anyway, I think. So not a big deal, because we'd probably have pulled through here if that's what we needed to do anyway. All right, so we said field 7 with the barley. We better hop out and close that bin lid up there, and we will We'll use auto drive to get this guy out there. We'll do the rounds and check in on our other jobs here real quick. Oh, it looks like our manure spreader just stopped. We did not get through the field with this tank. In fact, we've got a whole nother headland pass. My goodness, it's a thirsty machine, that's for sure. That's all right. We're going to go ahead and just get the semi out there. We'll get it refilled real quick here and get that driver moving again. All right, should be all refilled. And this time it should do it. We shouldn't have to do this again, but I've said that before. So we'll just get him started off, let him do his thing, get this semi back off of the field and out of the way. And then I believe our drill has made its way out to field 7 here. We're not quite done with the tillage yet. We've got just a little bit more left on this field. It's probably, I don't know, over halfway done, even if we count the headlands, I think. But we will have to wait for that to finish up before we can start planting the winter barley here. Now, I've definitely heard of a winter wheat. I guess I'm not sure when you normally plant the barley, but I have to imagine it's a similar type of crop, and it makes sense to be able to do that in the winter as well. But I guess while we wait for that tillage job to wrap up, we can always go and haul more bales, knowing that we've got plenty of storage for, I think, all the bales out there. We got enough for about 200 more bales in this storage unit, I think. We should be able to get everything off of the fields before the snow comes here in the winter. And it's a great filler job for when we don't have other things going on right now. Just trying to take a quick count of how many rows I think there are out here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, I don't know, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, maybe 14 rows. So a little over 4 rows going on to each trailer. That would be another 3, 4 loads, we'll say. We'll round up and say that I've got 4 loads, which would be about 160 bales. So there's actually more bales out here than I thought there was, but again, we have almost 200 capacity, so we should be good. Should be good. I'm skipping rows again, which I said I wasn't going to do, but that's just how the turn ends up sometimes. We'll go ahead and get this all filled up and then go check in on that tillage and spreading job and see that we're hopefully going to wrap both of those up this episode as well. And we're back up at the farm. Let's go ahead and drop these in. Another 40 some odd bales delivered. I haven't seen any messages from our course play or drivers or anything saying that they're empty. So I suppose we can always just head on back up and grab another load. But, you know, I am beginning to doubt that things are going to run as smoothly as I always hope. I have found most jobs on this series to be running smoother than normal, but well, we better go check on those workers just to make sure, since we are waiting to get started on the next job right behind them. Let me see. I'm going to park this guy up on the hill, though, before we do that, just because it's going to be easier to get started if we're up here. We're missing a row. I must have grabbed one bale out of this first row here by accident, so we'll get all lined up on the appropriate bale row here. And taking a look here, we're almost on to the headland passes. We've got probably just one more pass before we get to the headlands here, which is great. We're getting close, and we've got to be close on the slurry spreading over there too. Looking here. Oh, we are real close, and we're almost empty. We got 1% left. Are we going to have enough to finish it? Please be enough. That'd be such a shame to run out with like 10 feet left. Not that I wouldn't top it off anyway, but look at this. It's so close. 30 gallons, 20 gallons, 10 gallons. Good enough for me. We technically ran out, though. That's quite all right. We will go ahead and get rid of the course play course. close that all down, and I suppose I can back on up here and go ahead and reload things. While we're here, we might as well. Leaving a semi as empty as possible will allow us to take it back in, get it refilled. I don't think that's gonna actually work. Let me see. Oh, it is. What do you know? All right, well, it's gonna be all unloaded here. Perfect. We can send this guy back up to the BGA. I don't know if the BGA is quite the right waypoint for him, but it'll work. We'll figure it out when we get up there. Oh no. Stop. I think it got onto the side of the road that was going the other way. Auto drive gets confused sometimes. Perfect. And now, do we have something that we need to spread more slurry on? Maybe grass fields? Let's take a look. Nitrogen looking decent on these fields. Yeah, we've got to go spray or spread on our grass fields here. So let's go ahead and see if I can send this guy back to field 4. Does field 4 have a thing? It doesn't. Field 3 or 6? Field 3. That's a great place for you to go. We'll get you moving. We are going to have to top off the fuel on this guy at some point here as well. So got to keep my eye on that. If we do field, well, it's not field 3, but if we do that field in the back corner, then we can top off the fuel on the way when we're in the farm doing these other small grass fields. Just checking here. Our tillage guy went somewhere. Oh, he's down there on the other end. Looks like he got, unfortunately, a little bit stuck here doing the turnaround. So we're going to help him out just a bit. Drop this thing down. Not sure. I think this is starting off the headlands, though. Looks good. All right. You do you, sir. Why is the implement not lowered? All right, well, with that guy doing his thing, hopefully driving to a better headland position, we're gonna switch back over to the spreader here and get him started on this little field. We could do these manually, but even the small fields take a few minutes with the slurry spreader, so I always find it easier to just let Courseplay do its thing on all of our fields lately. So we'll just hit go and see how he handles it. And there we go. The tillage tool is working on the headland pass there, doing its thing. So we'll be done with that in not too long. We've got all of this stuff lined up here. This is not necessary, so we're going to go ahead and cancel that out. You know, I think we're in a pretty good spot here. There's not a lot else going on the farm here. I wanted to start off that winter barley there, but we didn't get a chance to this episode because well, it just took too long to get all these other side jobs done, which is actually not a bad thing. I've been having a lot of fun jumping around between the jobs here on the farm, but that does leave us with just spreading manure on our grass fields and doing tillage and planting some of these winter crops to do here this year. So I think that's going to be the plan for next episode. Hopefully you enjoyed today's episode. If you have, hit that like button. Helps me out a lot. That's all for today. Ketterk out.